What's going on, guys? Coach Aaron here, and today I'm giving you the ultimate Ana guide. For some context, I recently hit GM4 playing mostly Ana. I have several hundred hours in the game of Overwatch and have experience coaching players and helping them improve. But before we get started, I want to tell you that I have a growing Discord community that you're invited to. We got all sorts of things going on. We got discussions, questions for me, VOD reviews, and more. So if you enjoy Overwatch and you want to be a part of a growing community, just check the link in the description. Now, most guides start with the basic of the hero's kit, but I don't think that that's very beneficial to you, as you probably already have a basic understanding of Ana's kit. So in this guide, I will be assuming that you know what Ana's kit does. But with that said, in this video, I'm going to be covering positioning, how to use Ana's cooldown, what Ana's role is, and what her playstyle is. This guide should be enough to get a deep understanding of Ana so that you can climb the rank ladder. Let's just jump right into it, starting with positioning. Support is the glue of the team. If you die, you will most likely lose the team fight. This means that you need to position in a way that allows you to stay alive. So, how do we do this? Well, positioning in Overwatch 2 is dynamic. It changes due to many factors, so I can't really give you the answer to every situation. But there are some general guidelines that should be very helpful to you when deciding where to position. The biggest concern for you is position around natural cover. Natural cover keeps you alive longer and it increases your uptime. If you find yourself out in the open without any cover, you need to fix that. Find some cover and stay alive. Now, another great positioning guideline is to position yourself on high ground. High ground will enable you to hit your cooldown so much easier. Plus, with high ground, you get free cover. Your cover is the floor, so just back up and the enemy will lose line of sight of you. Now, finally, you need to see your team. Ideally, you are in a position where you can see your team and the enemy team. If you can't see your team or the enemy team, how do you expect to land your cooldowns and heal your team? So if you implement these simple yet effective guidelines, I'm positive your gameplay will improve. But remember, these are just guidelines. They won't answer every situation, but I can guarantee that they will improve your gameplay and impact in each team fight. Alright, let's get into the core of Ana's kit, her cooldowns, starting with the Anti-Nade. Anti-Nade is possibly Ana's most influential cooldown she has. As I said previously, I'm assuming you know what Ana's Nade does. But how do we use it? And what are we trying to accomplish with the Anti-Nade? Anti-Nade is a great way to add pressure. When someone is antied, they typically fall back to cover, and if they don't, well, they typically die. And this is good because if they fall back or die, your team now has an advantage. This is one of the best ways that Ana can carry games. So with this in mind, our job is to be looking for offensive anti-nade opportunities. Specifically, we want to anti someone when there is potential follow-up on the kill. If we land a nade on someone who is very far away from any sort of follow-up from the team, we have effectively done nothing with our cooldown. However, sometimes it's not a good idea to look for offensive anti-nade opportunities. So when is it not a good idea? Well, typically, if you're under a lot of direct pressure, you want to save your anti-nade to help relieve the pressure from yourself. So if you're being dived by, like, let's say Tracer, Sombra, and Monkey, you want to save your anti-nade and use it selfishly. In this case, your job is just to stay alive. In these scenarios, you're not expected to carry the game by landing huge offensive nades. Rather, your job is just to stay alive as long as possible. If you can, anti the enemy and heal yourself at the same time when they dive you. This will relieve pressure from you and add pressure to the enemy team. However, the opposite is true. If you're playing against a comp that does not directly add pressure to you, it is then your job to look for offensive nade value, anti the enemy team, and win. Alright, next on the cooldown list is Ana's Sleep Dart. Typically, sleep darts are used pretty defensively. However, this isn't always the case. The same scenario with the anti-nade applies to Ana's Sleep Dart. If you're under pressure from divers, save your Sleep Dart to keep yourself alive longer. If you aren't, look for offensive value. It's that simple. Alright, now that we got cooldowns covered, let's talk about Ana's ultimate ability. The way that I think about Ana's ultimate is in two ways. First, you can use Nano to enable aggression. Second, you can use Nano to relieve pressure. If you have a Cassidy set up on the flank and your team is about to engage, you want the Cassidy to get the most out of his positioning. He's positioned aggressively and can get a lot of value there. But if he doesn't have help, there's a good chance that he just dies and gets no value. However, if you were to nano him, the chances of him popping off is increased dramatically. This would be a nano that enables aggression. Now, this also applies to like a Reinhardt that is in really deep, or like I said before, a DPS that is in aggressive position. Now, let's say that your Reinhardt is taking a lot of damage, and there's a lot of pressure toward him. The enemy team pushes hard and tries to finish the kill on Reinhardt. However, you are a Giga Chad Ana player and nano him. Now, this relieves pressure from him, and he is then enabled to defend against that pressure. This is a nano that relieves pressure. These are the two types of nanos that you should be looking for when you play Ana. Now, let's put this all together and talk about Ana's playstyle. Overwatch 2 is a game of pressure. Often those who apply more pressure are those that win. So when you're playing Ana, or really any support, there are a few ways that you can add pressure to the enemy team. First is to heal your team. When your team is being healed, they can push more aggressively and add more pressure themselves because of the sustain that you are giving them. However, sometimes heal pressure isn't enough, so how else can we add pressure? As I spoke about before, using your cooldowns to add pressure. If you land your cooldowns as Ana, it adds a ton of pressure. This is why it's so important to land your cooldowns as Ana. But what else can we do? Well, you can add pressure by directly damaging the enemy with your gun. But you might be saying, okay, Coach Aaron, I thought this was the playstyle section of the guide. Why are you telling me about pressure? Well, Ana's playstyle is all about adding pressure. The only problem is that Ana can typically do one type of pressure at a time. She cannot heal her team and damage the enemy team at the same time like a Baptiste can. So, the playstyle for Ana is deciding what pressure to apply and when. If the enemy team is pushing aggressively, do you need to add pressure by healing, by landing a cooldown, or damaging directly? Well, it's really up to you to decide. Now, if you just combine this with good positioning, good cooldown usage, and ult usage, then you are setting yourself up to get to Grandmaster with Ana. Thanks for watching, everybody. This video, it took me a while to make, and I put a lot of effort into it, so let's get this video to pop off. If you enjoyed my Ana guide, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments if there's something you think I missed that can be beneficial for others to hear. Have a great day, and keep climbing.